She said, "Stop being so dramatic. It's just flirting." So I gave her drama she'll never forget and left her crying on the floor, begging me to come back. My name's Ethan, I'm 27, and I never thought a night out would be the turning point that would unravel 2 years of what I once thought was love. Chloe, 25, and I had been together long enough to know each other's moods, habits, and flaws, and we'd been living together for the past 8 months in what I thought was a shared dream. That Friday night was supposed to be a simple evening out. Just me, her, and a few of her friends at a bar we used to frequent when life felt light, before the pressure of shared bills and future plans started adding weight to our relationship. But as fate would have it, that night turned into a pivotal scene in a play I didn't know I was the fool in. I came back from the restroom only to see her at the bar, perched casually on a stool, giggling, twirling her hair, and handing a napkin to a guy I didn't recognize. He was leaning in close, smirking like he had already won something that was never his to begin with. I walked up just as he took the napkin from her, her number, complete with a heart drawn beside it. I couldn't believe my eyes, but I managed to keep my voice steady as I asked, "What's going on?" She turned to me with a smile that had no guilt behind it and said, "Oh, hey babe. This is... Sorry. What was your name again?" The guy said, "Trevor." He looked back and forth between us, the realization slowly crawling across his face. "This your boyfriend?" he asked. "Yeah," she said with a light laugh. "This is my dramatic boyfriend." Dramatic. That's what she called me. Dramatic for catching her red-handed flirting and giving her number to a stranger while I was just in the bathroom for a few minutes. She tried to play it off, said they were talking about fitness, that he might join her gym. I pointed to the heart on the napkin. She rolled her eyes and said, "Stop being so dramatic. It's just flirting. It doesn't mean anything." She said it with such ease, like I was the one in the wrong for feeling betrayed. I didn't argue. I didn't create a scene. I just sat down quietly at the table, letting her think she'd won. 5 minutes passed, and I was already pulling out my phone, canceling every apartment viewing we had scheduled. We'd been planning to move into a bigger place, a place she was supposedly excited about, and I had coordinated it all. I shut it all down, logged into my laptop. Yes, I'd brought it to the bar, planning to do some coding later, and scheduled the Wi-Fi cancellation. Every streaming service she used was on my account. I removed her profiles, changed the passwords. She was still laughing with her friends, occasionally throwing me glances to make sure I was still sitting there like her loyal puppy. What she didn't know was that I had already begun erasing myself from her world. I even sold her Taylor Swift concert tickets that I'd bought as an early birthday gift. $800 seats she'd been dreaming about for months. Within 20 minutes, the tickets were gone. The friend she'd been chatting with, Megan, wandered over, asking why I was so quiet. I casually mentioned to check StubHub in 10 minutes. She walked away, puzzled, but I stayed calm, planning my next move. Later that night, as Chloe came over to pull me onto the dance floor, laughing like nothing had happened, I played along. She kissed me, whispered she loved me, and said I was just being moody. I whispered back, "Remember you wanted your birthday party at the apartment? Might want to find a new venue." She laughed, thinking I was joking. I wasn't. Back at the apartment, she passed out, oblivious to the storm that was about to hit. I stayed awake, packed a small bag, and transferred the money from our vacation savings. She had only contributed $400 over 6 months. I put in the rest. I took my share, left hers. Then I logged into my Google Drive where I stored thousands of photos I'd taken for her aspiring influencer career. I'd been her photographer, editor, social media strategist, all for free. I moved every file into a private folder, removed her access. She'd been riding the wave of my support while feeding her ego with the attention of strangers. By morning, she was hungover and confused. "Why's the Wi-Fi slow? Why can't I access my Netflix profile? Where are my Instagram drafts?" I played dumb, made her breakfast, let her spiral. Then the real chaos hit. Her friend Megan called, screaming into the phone about the concert tickets. Chloe stared at me in shock, her hangover now mixed with panic. "You sold my birthday tickets?" I smiled. You said I was being dramatic. So I'm being dramatic. Chloe couldn't believe it. She slammed her phone down, accused me of overreacting, of ruining everything over one little flirt. But it was never just one. That napkin was the final straw, but the whole house had been built on termites. Slowly, quietly eating away at the foundation while I was busy holding it up alone. I let her rant. I let her cry. I even let her call me every name in the book while she texted her friends, her sister, her mom, spreading a version of the story that painted me as a controlling, overly sensitive boyfriend who had snapped out of nowhere. But I wasn't done yet. I spent the weekend finalizing my exit. Saturday afternoon, I got a call from her mother, the first one in our entire relationship. She demanded to know why I was punishing Chloe. I told her calmly, "Ma'am." She gave her number to another man while laughing in my face. "I'm not punishing her. I'm just no longer funding her." There was a pause on the line. Then, softly, her mother said, "That's fair." That was the last time I heard from her. Saturday night, Chloe went full meltdown mode. She smashed a glass against the wall when she realized the BMW cosign she was relying on had been canceled. She screamed that I was making her look bad, that I was sabotaging her life. I took a photo of the broken glass, calmly told her it was coming out of her deposit. Then I went into the spare room and slept peacefully. Sunday morning, I woke up to a complete shift. Chloe tried a different tactic. She wore the same lingerie I'd bought her on Valentine's Day, crawled into bed, whispers in my ear, soft apologies, empty promises. I looked her dead in the eyes and said, "I'm moving out on Wednesday." Her face went white. She thought I was bluffing. I reminded her the lease was month to month because she wanted flexibility. Now she was getting it, whether she liked it or not. By Monday, she realized the truth. I was serious. She begged, pleaded, threatened. She called me toxic, said I was emotionally abusive for withdrawing the support she had taken for granted. She even posted a TikTok accusing me of financial abuse, carefully editing the narrative to show her crying in an empty apartment, talking about how I destroyed her life. But the internet has a way of exposing lies. Within hours, people started pointing out her comments where she admitted to giving her number away. Others asked why a financially abusive ex had paid for her car insurance, rent, vacations, and concert tickets. She took the video down, but I'd already saved it. Wednesday came and I moved out while she was at her part-time job. I took what was mine, the TV, the air fryer, the coffee maker, the ring light, the Wi-Fi router, the couch I paid for. I left her a spreadsheet. Every dollar I'd spent over 2 years, $47,832. Rent, utilities, dates, gifts, groceries, subscriptions, everything. At the bottom, I wrote, "This was my dramatic investment in someone who believed flirting with strangers was harmless. Consider this my dramatic exit." Her messages that afternoon were pure chaos. She accused me of robbery, of betrayal, of being the real problem. I didn't respond. She threatened to call the cops. I invited her to do so. I had receipts for every item. Everything I took was either paid for by me before we moved in or purchased solely with my income. Her last text that day read, "You'll regret this. No one will love you like I did." I read it twice, laughed, and blocked her. In the following weeks, her life unraveled. She couldn't afford the rent. The harmless flirting guys vanished. Trevor never called. Alex offered her a friends with benefits deal with zero financial help. Marcus was married and blocked her. Jake ghosted completely. Her friends all had excuses when she begged for a place to crash. Even her best friend Ashley called me to apologize. Said they were over her drama, that she'd hit on multiple boyfriends in the past. I wasn't the only one. Chloe ended up moving back with her parents, the same ones she'd called toxic and controlling for expecting her to pay bills. Her influencer career tanked. Hard to post daily content when you're living in your childhood bedroom with no photographer, no ring light, and no Wi-Fi. The boutique fired her when she started missing shifts due to the commute. She tried to keep up appearances online, vague captions like healing, rising from the ashes, and self-care era. but everyone saw through it. The best part? A few weeks later, I ran into Trevor, the guy from the bar. We were at a coffee shop. He recognized me, came over, said, "Dude, I'm sorry about that night. I didn't know she had a boyfriend until you showed up." I told him no hard feelings. Then he laughed and said, "She actually messaged me like 50 times after that. Said she wanted me to take care of her. Asked about moving in together. Got real weird. I had to block her. Turns out she lied about that too. Said he was joining her gym. He's an accountant. The gym story was a total fabrication. Now I'm in a new apartment. Smaller but mine. Quiet. Peaceful. I'm dating again. A woman I met at the climbing gym. She pays her own bills. She shut down a guy who hit on her last week and immediately told me about it. Some creep asked for my number. I told him I have a boyfriend. People are so rude. She said, "That's a partner." Looking back, Chloe was right about one thing. I was being dramatic. Dramatically smart to leave. Dramatically justified in walking away. And most importantly, dramatically better off. She wanted drama. I gave her a full theater production, lights, camera, emotional breakdown. But I didn't do it to hurt her. I did it to save myself. Because there comes a time when being called dramatic just means you've finally found the strength to stop being taken for granted. Like and subscribe for more stories like this. Trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next.